Yeah, we out in the snow. Guess where we at? You already know. I ain't got my home gym yet, so we at the gym and sauna. About to do about 35 minutes in here. Then get my workout in. Most people are still snowed in. They did come by and do the road a little bit. Enough for me to go ahead and get out. I just shoved around it, loosened it up, and then good to go. Discipline, man. Discipline, consistency. Don't let the snow stop you. Guess what? You ain't got to go to the gym. You can work out at the house, so you ain't got to leave the house. I needed to go to the store and get a few things, so decided to step out. But here we are. I'll let y'all see it a little bit later. It seems that in America we have a selective outrage problem. So, Bill Belichick was not and is not a first ballot Hall of Famer coach, but he should be. Everybody knows that. We all know that. It has nothing to do with skin color or whatever some people trying to make it out to. Because Bill Belichick is a white coach, and it's not us who is deciding if he's going to be in there or not be in there. And as you see, there's something else going on because it is white folks that kept a white coach out by the name of Bill Belichick. What I mean by selective outrage is you have this thing going on in Minnesota, and we have been hollering about it. People that look like us. I'm not saying that there weren't white people out there protesting or standing up for what is right, but overall, it was this narrative of they should have did this or they should have did that. They're not complying, all these different things. And there are many cases where, yes, the person that looked like me, they should have complied a little bit more. But there are more cases, I believe, where they did what they were supposed to do and the situation turned out the way that it turned out. The police job is to de-escalate the situation, but it seems that we live in a world where they are escalating situations and making them worse than what they have to be. Now, that has happened to us. You see it's happening to white Americans, and there's an outrage, and there should be an outrage in regards to what is happening. So you can't be selective. You can't have selective outrage. Oh, it's not happening to my people, so I'm going to be outraged in what's happening. I said it wrong. It's not happening to my people, so I'm not going to be outraged. And now that it's happening to your people, now you want to be outraged. You should be outraged regardless, because if it can happen to one group of people, what makes you think that it wouldn't happen to another group of people simply because that group of people happens to be of a what we call lighter complexion than the other group of people? That is something I can't decide. I can't say. I can say for a lot of people, but for you that are listening, that's something that you have to check within your heart. Why do you have that mindset? Why are you only outraged when you want to be outraged when it's only pertaining to a particular group of people, thinking that it can't happen to you? And so that leads us back to the point we were making about Bill Belichick. I remember, and some of you do that follow sports, T.O. He spoke out about the whole process. They basically did the same thing to him. I believe probably, you could make an argument of which was worse, but they painted this narrative about T.O. and everything and his character and stuff like that. He's like, okay, if you take my character out of it, what does the stats say? What is the qualifications? I not only meet the qualifications, but I surpass the qualifications. And yes, T.O. was T.O., but was T.O. as bad as people say he was, as the media try to portray him? No, he even said that. He said that this is what the media is saying. You can go talk to the people that know me. All these different things. You come against my character. He's big on that. He was big on it back then. He's big on it. He's big on it now. Were there some issues? Of course, but there's issues with all all athletes, especially NFL players and stuff like that. So people were selectively outraged by T.O. saying what he was saying, and now that has happened to Bill Belichick. They still want to be selectively outraged. When T.O. was going through what he's going through, oh, he's big baby, drama queen, shut up, and you made all this money, all this other stuff. Doesn't matter how much a person makes. What's right is right, what's wrong is wrong. Now that it's Bill Belichick, here comes the selective outrage. Again, is he worthy to be inducted into the Hall of Fame? Absolutely. But you can't be selectively, or choose to be selective in your outrage when it comes to one group of people. But then when it comes to the other group of people, you make all these stories up. It doesn't matter if you are selectively outraged by things that happen to black people when you're black, and then when something happens to white people, you want to be quiet, or the other way around. What's right is right, what's wrong is wrong. The reason why we have such a huge problem in this world, especially in America, is for that reason right there. We want to stand up for what we want to stand up for. We don't want to stand up for what we don't want to stand up for. But we should, even when we should stand up for the things that we should stand up for, we don't, because they don't fit our personal agendas. And I'm a person, like y'all know, I come from the military background, my parents, my wife. I'm not used to that. I'm used to helping people out. I'm used to being around different cultures. I'm used to being around different people. I'm used to being able to speak to people, have conversations with people, no matter their background, no matter their skin complexion. And here in America, man, like it's difficult. And like I said, I grew up in the military. When I was a child, I was in Germany. I stayed in Germany 3 different times. Lived in Kentucky, North Carolina, so many different places. And when you're in the military, even if there is a system in place, it's not really, at least back in my day, it wasn't like really known. Maybe in the higher ups, but when you with your battle buddies, when you with your battalion, when you with your people, when you in them trenches and stuff like that, man, anybody thinking about skin color, you thinking about making it back home. If you went to war, that becomes your family, no matter their skin color. And that's just the way it is. So if something happens to a battle buddy of yours, whether they are white or black, you're not going to be, I'm not worried about it because that doesn't affect me. It does affect you. I live by the 2 commandments: to love your Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and to love your neighbor as you love yourself. And if you are here in America, I'm here in America, we have the right to speak out about the things that are not right. But if you're in America, you are my neighbor, and I'm going to treat you the same way I treat myself. I'm going to hold you to the same standard I hold myself. And I hold myself to a high standard in regard to how I treat myself, how I treat my family, and therefore how I treat others. I believe that people don't really care about themselves like they should, which is why they treat others like garbage. They don't value life. It's not even an American thing. It's a world thing. We don't seem to value life the way that we should. And there's an old saying: you can take it or leave it. You will know a tree by its fruit. So we can sit here and say, oh yeah we do, yeah we do, yeah we do, but the fruit stinks. The fruit says otherwise, that we don't value life, which is why we choose to be selectively outraging what we want to be selectively outraged instead of being outraged when things are wrong. We all should be outraged at the things that are wrong, not only in America but around the world. We should be outraged, but we should be doing something about it. If you're called to march and you called to march, I'm not going to march. This is me. I'm not going to march. I'm not going out there. I'm gonna do my part by making these videos. I'm gonna do my part by how I live my life. I'm gonna do my part by how I carry myself, no matter how people may look at me. I'm gonna do my part in regard to how I raise the future generation, because I got 4 children. So I'm gonna do my part in that regard. As far as marching, nah, I'm not getting out there like that. I like to fight my battles in other places. And a lot of it comes down to money, because that's what these people who are in power, that's what they understand. They understand money. You start messing with their money, then you see they start making changes and start paying attention. Y'all tearing stuff up when these folks, these buildings, they got insurance. They either gonna get it fixed, the insurance gonna cover it or whatever, and they gonna move out. They gonna get their check, they gonna go on somewhere else. That's just the nature of business. So this is my message to y'all. Don't be selectively outraged in what you choose to be selectively outraged in. Is interesting because you had the George Floyd thing. I'm not saying that George Floyd was a stand-up citizen. I'm not saying that. But even if a person isn't a stand-up citizen, come on, man. Like this is what we're doing. And these same things are now happening again with ICE and stuff like that in Minnesota. And people are outraged. Should they be outraged? Absolutely. Absolutely. These things should not go down the way that they go down. But don't think that you get to be quiet when it happens to one person, but then you get to be loud when it happens to somebody else. Because now you want to be loud because it happened to somebody else when you should have been loud when it happened to the other people. And maybe, just maybe, it would not have happened to the group that you now want to be selectively outraged and cry about when we should be crying in general. So, light turned off. What thing? Know what happened? But yeah, that's what I got for y'all. I may go out here after I leave this gym, show y'all what's going on with this these roads and stuff like that. Give you an update. This is day 4 of being snowed in. We technically still snowed in.